Well, folks, Christmas came early this year, or perhaps super late, depending on how you look at it. But either way, a couple of weeks ago, Samsung finally released their brand new OneUI 7 beta based on Android 15. And I've now got the second beta loaded onto my Galaxy S24 here. And I thought it'd be fun to unpack 17 underrated and hidden features that make the update even better than what it seems on the surface. Now, keep in mind, as the name indicates, this software is in beta, so as such, there are some minor bugs here and there, as well as more changes to come. And in fact, we've already seen some improvements between the first and second betas. But before we get into it, I was actually not going to make this video at all, but a huge shout out needs to go to Daniel Scuteri from the Tech with Benefits channel, who helped me put together the various features I'm about to showcase. I'll leave a link to his channel below, so make sure to go and check him out. But with that being said, let's dive in. All right, let's kick things off by looking at the lock screen. As always, if we long press our lock screen, you'll see all of the various customization options that we've had for quite some time with OneUI. And if we tap on the clock, most of these options are fairly similar to OneUI 6. However, our options have now been broken up into two different sections, one for fonts and colors, and one for our styles. Most of these are the same as OneUI 6. However, there are two new options here which neatly animate when you turn the display on and off. There's also no option to disable the clock with this beta, so hopefully that gets added back by the time the stable update rolls around. If we then hop out of that and tap on Add Widgets, the biggest change you'll notice here is that we have way more first-party options available. I think with the latest version of OneUI 6.1, we had 6 different first-party Samsung apps to choose widgets from. And with this beta, we have 14 different apps available. And my guess is that there'll be even more once the stable version launches. Oh, and the widgets all have this beautiful blurred background now, which looks amazing. We also have more first-party options to choose from for our lock screen shortcuts down the bottom here, which means they look way cleaner on the lock screen compared to previous OneUI options. Although I will say the behavior of these seems really odd to me because you don't just tap them to activate the shortcuts, you've got to swipe on them. And this just feels wrong and unintuitive given that they look like buttons and not swipe actions. But these first-party options also get the nice blurred background like the widgets. So the more first-party options that we get, the better. Another key change with OneUI 7 are the notifications, and the biggest change that you'll notice here is in regards to their design, in that pretty much everything related to notifications is much rounder now, which I reckon looks pretty slick. Now, we used to be able to edit the style of our notifications via the lock screen editor here, but fear not, we can still make those changes on OneUI 7, it's just in a different location. So we just need to unlock the phone and then open up the settings menu, then open up the notifications section, and here you'll see this lock screen notifications option, which allows us to edit the notification styles as before. There's also this new dot option, which just shows you this tiny little dot on the top left of your screen, which is super clean and minimal, but just keep in mind, it'll only show you the dot when there are brand new notifications available. If you then go ahead and open your notification panel, the dot will disappear even if there are still unread notifications. I actually think this should be a setting that we can enable or disable because there's pretty much no chance that I'll use this dot option in its current implementation. You also have similar notification customizations available in this status bar menu, including an option to completely turn off notification icons if you feel so inclined. And you also get the option to disable the battery percentage in this menu here. And whilst we're on the topic, how nice is this new battery icon? I just wish the mobile data and Wi-Fi icons could get updated to match the new aesthetic too. All right, if we come out of that menu, then scroll down to this lock screen and AOD section, one of the most unique changes with OneUI 7 is the Now bar. Now, there's no question that this is at least partially inspired by iOS's dynamic island, but Samsung haven't just replicated the feature like what some other manufacturers have done, they've very much made it their own. Right now, the feature is limited to mostly first-party apps, although most audio playing apps have support right out of the box, which is fantastic. But you can see which first-party apps support the feature via this menu here. And then whenever any of these apps have any sort of live activity running, you'll see the Now bar on the lock screen. And what's cool is that you can have multiple live activities running at the same time, and you just flick them up like so to switch between them. And I've got to say, these animations in particular are very nicely done. The Now bar even appears on the always on display, and what I find fascinating is that if you have a stopwatch running, it updates on the always on display in real time, which I'm not sure whether this is a bug or not because even iOS doesn't do this. Oh, and then if you simply tap the now bar, you'll then get a kind of nice but still needs refining animation into like an expanded version of the now bar. But as an example, for this music playing option, the album artwork should clearly animate into this larger version, as should the play, back and forward buttons. And when I swipe down here, it should follow my finger down rather than just moving down once I've performed the gesture. That would make the experience feel so much more fluid. And same thing with this stopwatch option. The fluidity is kind of there, but it actually creates a completely new instance of the stopwatch with a completely new font for the timer. And like all of these icons should animate into place rather than new ones being created when opening and closing it. All right, with the lock screen well and truly covered, let's now unlock the phone. And before we move on, you may have noticed that I still have my custom layout from OneUI 6 here. And for those who don't know, this layout actually isn't possible with the default home screen settings available. And in fact, if we long press our home screen and tap on settings, then home screen grid, you can see that we have 3 home screen grid size options here, which is actually less than the previous versions of OneUI. But this third 7x7 option, it actually isn't available by default, but it's only showing here because I had it set via the Home Up app before I sideloaded the OneUI 7 update. And it's a good thing I did because at the time making this video, some of the modules available within the Good Lock app, Home Up included, they don't currently work. So there's a trick for you. If you're planning on upgrading to the beta, get your home screen set up on OneUI 6 with the Home Up app, then do the update, because then your home screen will look how you want it to. One of the Good Lock modules that does still work though is Theme Park. So for anyone worried about losing the ability to customize your icons after the update, fear not, that functionality still works. Another new update for the home screen is the option to create large folders. You just long press any folder on your home screen, then tap on Enlarge, and there you go. You can now quickly launch into any of the first 8 apps in that folder without having to open the folder first. That being said, any apps after the first 8 get truncated under this little 3-dot icon, which is kind of a shame. I wish you could swipe between folder pages without having to open the folder first. So fingers crossed, Samsung addresses this for the stable version. Oh, and large folders also get a blurry background now, which I love, although I wish the smaller folders got the same treatment too, hopefully in the next update. Now, for the majority of users, this next feature will most likely be completely missed, but if you've updated to OneUI 7 and you're getting the vibe that things are feeling somewhat smoother and more buttery than before, well, you're not imagining it. Samsung have made some huge improvements with animations, and nowhere is this more evident than when opening and closing apps or widgets on the home screen. And I know no one uses their phones like this, but I mean, just look at me opening and closing this weather widget over and over again with OneUI 6.1 on the left and OneUI 7 on the right. I mean, the difference is night and day. And then if we open an app and then drag it into the recents view like this, you can see that we also have an updated look here. It's more of a carousel as opposed to a horizontal list. Although, fun fact, you could get pretty close to this style on OneUI 6 by using the stack mode within the task changer settings in the Home Up module. All that being said, the animations are still not completely perfect, although I have noticed some very slight improvements with this second beta compared to the first beta, so I'm guessing even more refinements are to come, but it's hands down the smoothest that OneUI has felt in a long, long time. From there, if we long press our home screen and then tap on Settings, we now have this new option provided by default called App and Widget Style. If we click on that, we'll get a few customization options that were previously only available within the Home Up module, but like I said, now they're provided by default, which is great. So we can change the size of our app icons and widgets, and we can also disable both app and widget labels on our home screen together, or just widget labels on their own. All right, from there, we have the app drawer. And this is possibly my favorite change of this entire software update because we finally have a vertically scrolling app drawer. It still has that very Samsung-esque design and feel to it. And I love how they moved the search bar to the bottom here. But boy, am I so glad to finally have a vertically scrolling app drawer on my Samsung phone. That being said, for those who prefer the old horizontal app drawer, then don't worry, you can actually bring it back by tapping the 3-dot icon here, then by tapping sort, and then setting this to custom order. No clue why this isn't just called horizontal layout or something. In fact, I have a feeling that this will be tweaked in future updates, but there you go. But with this option selected, you'll notice that there's a lot of blank space, and if you aren't vibing that, then you can actually tap on Clean Up Page, and any empty spaces will be filled, and this just reduces the amount of swipes required to reach all of your installed apps. And then another pretty big change that Samsung has made with One UI 7 is the quick settings panel. And possibly the more controversial change is that the notifications and quick toggles have now been separated into 2 pages. But what makes this change more palatable and honestly pretty cool in my opinion is that you can actually swipe horizontally to swap between the 2 pages. But as far as I'm concerned, the redesign of this quick settings panel is probably my second favorite change of One UI 7 after the vertically scrolling app drawer. And the layout is somewhat similar to One UI 6.1, but everything is rounder, there's more blur and translucency in play, and even the decision to hide the text on this first view here just makes the update look so much cleaner. Obviously, we can swipe down to view the text beneath the toggles, although to then collapse that section, you then need to very carefully grab this tiny handle here, otherwise the whole page just scrolls. So I kind of think that needs to be improved for the next update. But yeah, a big fan of this redesigned quick settings panel. Oh, and what's really neat is that you can actually change how many toggles appear by default in this section. You just tap this pencil icon here, and you can then drag down or up to adjust how many icons show on that first swipe. So you can go for a very clean look with only 4 toggles, or a very functional and somewhat cluttered look with essentially as many toggles as you like. From there, not only can we reorder the entire quick settings panel layout by long pressing and then dragging around the various sections like so, which I'm a big fan of, but we can also tap this panel settings option up here, then open this notification and quick settings view here and change this to together, which reverts back to the previous configuration where a first swipe down shows us a combined quick settings and notification panel, and then a second swipe shows our expanded quick settings panel. I just wish that this first view of the quick settings panel more accurately matched the design of the expanded quick settings panel, perhaps with our Wi-Fi and Bluetooth pills at the top, maybe 4 of our quick settings toggles below that, and then the brightness slider at the bottom. Because to be honest, I'm pretty over this very tired quick settings panel design here. Plus, it would also allow for the panel to more smoothly animate open rather than, again, a completely new version of the quick settings panel having to replace the truncated version. All right, let's move on to changes related to the camera app. And yes, the camera app itself has received a pretty substantial visual overhaul compared to past One UI versions where all of the settings are now collapsed under this icon at the bottom here, but there's also a hidden upgrade that you may not have been aware of. So if we open up the settings, it looks fairly similar to what we had with One UI 6.1, but if you tap on advanced picture options, we actually get this brand new setting that gives us the option to capture video before and after the shutter button is pressed, rather than just before, like how it was on One UI 6.1. Galaxy AI has also gotten a much needed upgrade with One UI 7, where instead of having to use Samsung specific apps like the Samsung browser or keyboard app to make the most of the feature, they've now pulled some of the features outside of those apps so that they can work anywhere. So for example, I actually prefer using Google's keyboard app called Gboard, but in One UI 6.1, that then meant that I couldn't use the Galaxy AI features exclusive to the Samsung keyboard. Well now, no matter what app or keyboard I'm using, all I need to do is highlight any text that I've written, and we get this new Galaxy AI icon in this little menu here, which I can then tap on and use as needed. Aside from that, there's also a heap of other smaller, less obvious changes that Samsung has made with this update, the first of which is this new Labs menu found within the Bixby settings. There's not a lot in this menu right now, except for this custom wake up phrase option, which, as the name indicates, lets you create a completely unique wake up phrase for Bixby, like, "Yo, assistant," or something like that. And this is actually a pretty cool feature. Then under this battery protection menu in our battery settings, Samsung has given us the option to tweak what level our battery stops charging at, whereas with One UI 6.1, we could only set this to 80%. Then if we come back and scroll down a bit, Samsung has now given us this new option to disable that annoying auto dim feature that in the past would automatically trigger your phone's display to dim whenever the battery hit 5%, and I really did not like it whenever this happened, so I'm very grateful that we now have the option to disable it. And then finally, Samsung has added a subtle but much appreciated setting to the quick share functionality called allow sharing over internet. It's actually disabled by default, but when you enable it, quick share will then be allowed to share files using mobile data if the Wi-Fi connection is unstable. That should mean that even if the two devices are not side by side, the transfer should continue with no interruptions, which could be a serious game changer and hopefully improve the issues that Quick Share has been dealing with over the past year or so. But there you have it, 17 of my favorite, less spoken about changes with the OneUI 7 beta. If you enjoyed the video, then a sub would be greatly appreciated. But that's it. Thank you all very much for watching. Merry Christmas, and I will catch you later.